Men, I've got to be honest with you. Sometimes, the things a woman says early on will tell you everything you need to know about where that relationship is headed. It's not always about what she does. It's about what comes out of her mouth. And if you're paying attention, you can save yourself from a lot of wasted time, emotional drain, and even heartbreak. Most men ignore these signs because they're caught up in attraction or they're afraid of losing her, so they convince themselves she doesn't really mean it. But I'm telling you, if a woman says certain things, you shouldn't try to work through it or see how it goes. You should walk away immediately. Why? Because words reveal mindset. If she's telling you something that exposes selfishness, lack of respect, or incompatibility, believe her. Don't fall into the trap of thinking she'll change. She won't. And the longer you stick around, the more you'll pay for it. I've seen so many men waste years with women who told them up front, through their own words, that they weren't the right fit. Those guys ignored it because they were blinded by chemistry, beauty, or the fantasy of who they thought she could be. But that fantasy doesn't pay off. It costs you your peace, your confidence, and sometimes your future. In this guide, I'm going to break down 5 things a woman might say that should be instant deal breakers. These aren't little red flags you can negotiate on. These are the kind of warning signs that, if ignored, will destroy the relationship and leave you wondering why you didn't listen to your gut. If you hear any of these from her, take them seriously. Don't argue. Don't try to fix it. Just leave. 1. I don't really believe in commitment. When a woman tells you she doesn't believe in commitment, you need to understand something. She's giving you her relationship blueprint. This is not her being mysterious or playing hard to get. This is her saying, in plain language, that she has no intention of building anything long-term with you or anyone else. And if you ignore that, you're setting yourself up to be temporary in her life. Think about it. If you wanted to build a business with someone and they told you, I don't really believe in contracts, you wouldn't even consider signing a deal with them. You'd walk away because you know they're telling you they can leave at any moment, without notice, and with no responsibility to you. The same logic applies here. I've seen men try to prove to a woman who says this that they're worth committing to. They invest their time, energy, and even money into her, thinking she'll change her mind. But a woman who doesn't believe in commitment isn't looking for a reason to settle down. She's looking for reasons not to. She enjoys her freedom, her options, and the ability to walk away without feeling guilty. Maybe she's been hurt before. Maybe she grew up around broken relationships. Maybe she simply decided she values independence over partnership. Whatever her reason is, it's not your job to convince her otherwise. Your job as a man is to protect your energy and your future. If she's not interested in committing, she's not interested in building with you. And if she's not building with you, then she's not on your team. Picture this. You meet a woman who tells you this on your 3rd date. You like her, you're attracted to her, and the chemistry is real. You tell yourself, she just hasn't met the right man yet. Fast forward 6 months. You've been acting like a boyfriend. She's been acting like she's single, and now you're frustrated because she's texting other guys and making last-minute cancellations to your plans. The truth is, she didn't betray you. You betrayed yourself by ignoring what she told you from the start. Men, hear me on this. A relationship without commitment is like building a house on sand. No matter how much effort you put into it, it will collapse. If a woman says she doesn't believe in commitment, you should believe her. Don't try to change her. Don't try to inspire her to think differently. Take her at her word and move on to find someone whose values match yours. You're not here to be someone's casual option when you're ready to be a priority. If she can't see the value in committing, then she doesn't deserve the value you bring as a man who knows what he wants. 2. My ex will always be a part of my life. When a woman says her ex will always be a part of her life, she's telling you she hasn't fully closed that chapter. And if she hasn't closed it, that means you're stepping into a situation where another man still has space in her heart and mind. You might think you're competing for her attention with other men in the present, but in this case, you're competing with the ghost of her past. Some men hear this and shrug it off, thinking it's harmless. They tell themselves, it's just her being mature, or they're just friends now. But there's a big difference between being civil with an ex and keeping him as a permanent fixture in her life. If she talks to him often, keeps him updated on her personal life, or lets him influence her decisions, you're dealing with an emotional attachment that's still active. Imagine this. You're out at dinner with her, things are going well, and her phone lights up with a text from her ex. She smiles, says, "Oh, it's just him," and casually replies while you're sitting there. She might even share the conversation with you to make it seem harmless, but inside, you feel that slight sting of disrespect. That's your intuition telling you something isn't right. When a woman says her ex will always be a part of her life, she's either not over him or she wants to keep that emotional safety net. And here's the truth. If she's keeping that door open for him, she can't fully open the door for you. Relationships require emotional exclusivity, not just physical exclusivity. Even if she's not sleeping with him, if he's still her go-to person for comfort, advice, or emotional support, you're not the man in her number one spot. I've seen men try to tolerate this by setting rules about how often she can see or talk to him. But here's the reality. If you have to set rules to stop her from putting her ex first, she's already showing you where her loyalty lies. That's not a problem you can fix with boundaries. It's a problem that comes from her lack of emotional closure. You deserve a woman whose heart is fully available to you, not one who's dividing it between you and a man from her past. If she says her ex will always be in her life, take it as your cue to step back. You're not here to be the stand-in boyfriend while she keeps a torch burning for someone else. You're here to build something real, and that requires her to leave the past where it belongs, behind her. 3. You're too good for me. At first, this one might sound like a compliment. A woman looks you in the eye and says, "You're too good for me." She smiles, maybe even hugs you, and you think she's being sweet. But this isn't sweetness, it's a warning. What she's really saying is, I can't or won't give you the kind of love and respect you deserve. Men often hear this line and feel proud, like they've impressed her so much that she feels unworthy. They think it's a challenge to prove they can make her believe she's good enough. But this is where so many guys get trapped. When someone tells you they can't meet your standard, believe them. Don't try to drag them up to it. Here's why this statement is dangerous. It's often used by women who know they won't treat you right but don't want to take responsibility for the fallout. By telling you up front, "You're too good for me," she's lowering your expectations, so when she disrespects you, cheats, or loses interest, you won't be surprised. It's like a thief telling you, "I'm not trustworthy," before you hand them your wallet. Imagine this. You start dating a woman who says this to you within the first month. You laugh it off and tell her she's just being modest. Over time, you notice she cancels plans last minute, flirts with other men in front of you, and doesn't put in half the effort you do. When you bring it up, she says, "I told you I wasn't good enough for you." Suddenly, you realize she wasn't joking. She meant it. Men, relationships aren't about playing savior. You're not here to fix a woman's self-esteem or teach her how to be a better partner. If she tells you she's not good enough, she's either trying to warn you about the chaos she's going to bring or test how much disrespect you'll tolerate. Either way, you lose. You need a woman who sees your value and rises to meet it, not one who tells you she can't match it and then proves herself right by giving you less than you deserve. If she says you're too good for her, let her be right and move on. 4. I'm not ready for anything serious. When a woman tells you she's not ready for anything serious, she's not leaving the door open for a relationship later. She's telling you exactly where she's at right now. And right now is all that matters, because if she's not ready now, she's not going to magically become ready just because you treat her well or give her time. A lot of men hear this and think they can wait it out. They tell themselves, if I'm patient, she'll see how good I am for her. But here's the problem. While you're waiting, she's living her life. She's dating other people, exploring her options, and enjoying her freedom. Meanwhile, you're on standby, hoping she'll pick you when she's ready. And by the time that day comes, if it ever does, she'll either have moved on or still won't be looking for commitment. Think about it like this. If you walked into a car dealership ready to buy and the salesman said, "We're not selling cars right now, but you can hang around until we are," you'd leave. You wouldn't waste your time hoping they might start selling next month. Yet, in dating, too many men stick around in situations where the woman has already told them she's not selling commitment. Picture this. You meet a woman. The attraction is instant, and things feel great for a few weeks. Then she drops the line, "I'm not ready for anything serious." Instead of taking it seriously, you keep investing in her, buying gifts, spending time, being available whenever she calls. Months later, she's still telling you she's not ready, but now she's dating other men openly. You feel betrayed, but the truth is, she told you from the beginning what she wanted, and it wasn't a relationship with you. Men, when a woman says she's not ready, it's not your job to convince her otherwise. That's her life stage, her mindset, her choice. And if she's in a fun-only phase, she's not going to suddenly switch gears because you've been loyal and patient. That's not how it works. You have to value your own time enough to walk away from anyone who isn't aligned with your goals. If you want something serious and she doesn't, there's no middle ground. You're simply mismatched. And the longer you stay, the more you waste emotional energy on someone who never promised you anything. Leave her to live her life, and you go live yours. The right woman won't need to get ready to be with you. She'll be ready from day one. 5. I don't need a man to tell me what to do. On the surface, this can sound like independence, and there's nothing wrong with a woman being independent. But when she says it with an edge, as a reaction to you setting boundaries or expressing standards, that's a red flag. What she's really saying is that she doesn't respect male leadership, guidance, or input in the relationship. And without mutual respect, you don't have a partnership. You have a power struggle. A healthy relationship isn't about control. It's about influence, teamwork, and trust. If you can't influence each other for the better, the relationship won't grow. But when a woman responds to reasonable boundaries with, "I don't need a man to tell me what to do," she's telling you she doesn't see you as a leader in her life, just an accessory who's along for the ride. Imagine you tell her you don't like the idea of her going on one-on-one friend dinners with another guy. Instead of hearing you out and respecting your feelings, she fires back, "You're not going to control me. I don't need a man to tell me what to do." In that moment, she's dismissing your role as a partner and prioritizing her ego over the relationship. I've seen men try to argue their way into being respected, thinking if they explain themselves well enough, she'll finally understand. But respect is not something you debate into existence. It's either there or it's not. A woman who values you will want to hear your perspective and consider it, even if she doesn't agree every time. A woman who doesn't value you will shut you down instantly and throw up a wall. The truth is, if she sees your boundaries as control, she's not ready for a relationship where both people are accountable to each other. That attitude will lead to constant conflict because she'll see any form of male input as a threat to her independence. And in that environment, you can't build trust. You can only survive arguments until the next one. Men. You need a woman who respects you enough to listen and who understands that healthy relationships require compromise. If she's quick to dismiss you with, "I don't need a man to tell me what to do," don't try to teach her otherwise. Walk away and find someone who's mature enough to value mutual respect. 6. You're overreacting when you're setting boundaries. When you tell a woman how you feel about something that crosses your boundaries, and her first response is, "You're overreacting," she's not trying to understand you, she's trying to shut you down. This phrase is a classic way of dismissing your feelings so she doesn't have to take responsibility for her actions. Boundaries are not about controlling someone. They're about protecting your values, your peace, and your self-respect. A woman who respects you will want to understand why you feel the way you do. She might ask questions, she might even disagree, but she won't immediately minimize your emotions. On the other hand, a woman who responds with, "You're overreacting," is telling you that your feelings are invalid and that she doesn't have to change her behavior. Picture this. You're dating a woman and you tell her you're not comfortable with her posting overly flirty pictures on social media. Instead of having a conversation, she rolls her eyes and says, "You're overreacting, it's not a big deal." Now you're left questioning yourself. You start wondering if maybe you are being too sensitive. That's the trap. She's making you second-guess your own standards. I've seen men fall into this spiral. Every time they try to address an issue, they get labeled as overreacting, too sensitive, or controlling. Over time, they stop speaking up altogether. They think they're keeping the peace, but what they're really doing is giving up their voice. And once you give that up, the relationship stops being equal. You're just there to accept whatever she decides is acceptable. Here's the thing. If a woman truly cares about you, she'll take your concerns seriously, even if she doesn't fully agree. She won't belittle or mock you for speaking up. The moment she starts making you feel like you're crazy for having boundaries, you're in dangerous territory. That's not love. That's manipulation. Men, your standards are not negotiable just because someone else doesn't like them. If she tries to make you feel wrong for having them, she's showing you that she's not willing to meet you halfway. And if she won't respect your boundaries now, she won't respect them later. Don't waste time defending your right to have standards. If she labels your boundaries as overreactions, that's your cue to leave. Respect is non-negotiable, and without it, the relationship is already broken. 7. If you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. This phrase might sound like it's about honesty and acceptance, but in reality, it's often a license for bad behavior. When a woman says this, she's not promising growth. She's warning you that she's going to act in ways that push your limits, and she expects you to tolerate it without complaint. There's a difference between being supportive during someone's low points and being a doormat for someone's poor choices. Every man will go through moments with his partner where she's stressed, upset, or struggling, and that's normal. But my worst in a healthy relationship means temporary challenges, not a permanent excuse for disrespect, mood swings, or toxic habits. Imagine you start dating a woman who says this early on. At first, you think she's just saying she wants to be accepted for who she is. But then you start to notice a pattern. She snaps at you over small things, gives you the silent treatment when she doesn't get her way, or storms out of arguments instead of communicating. When you bring it up, she smirks and says, "I told you, if you can't handle me at my worst." In her mind, you've already agreed to put up with it. I've seen too many men ignore this red flag because they think it's romantic to love her through the hard times. The problem is, for some women, the hard times are constant because they have no interest in improving. They use this phrase to flip the blame. If you leave, you're weak or not real enough to stick it out, when the truth is, you simply refused to tolerate mistreatment. Men, you have to understand that relationships are about mutual growth. Yes, you support each other through tough seasons, but you also hold each other accountable to get better. A woman who hides behind this phrase is telling you she doesn't plan to work on herself. She expects you to adapt to her chaos. If you stay, you'll spend more time managing her moods than enjoying the relationship. That's not partnership, that's emotional babysitting. And the more you enable it, the worse it gets. When you hear this line, don't romanticize it. See it for what it is. A warning that her worst might not have a finish line. If she's not committed to becoming her best, she doesn't deserve the best version of you. Walk away and save that energy for someone who's willing to grow with you, not someone who excuses staying the same. Men, the words a woman speaks are windows into her mindset. When she tells you she doesn't believe in commitment, keeps her ex close, doubts she's good enough, avoids seriousness, rejects your leadership, dismisses your boundaries, or justifies bad behavior, she's telling you exactly what the future will look like. Don't ignore these warnings. You're not here to fix, convince, or wait for someone to change. You're here to build with a woman who values and respects you from the start. Walking away from the wrong woman isn't a loss. It's a win that protects your time, energy, and peace.